Let me check in. Welcome aboard. Transformation Tuesday. Every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we go live. And let me check in on the audio. Make sure I'm coming through okay. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. I got the chat up so I can see your comments to let me know if whatever I'm putting out there is being received. So do me a favor, do that right away, and then we'll dive into the material today. And and I'll check the chat while I'm talking here, I have a really interesting article about spiders and about electricity and something I didn't know that happened in the world of spiders and how they travel around the world. In fact, you can find spiders hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles up in the air. Well, maybe I'll say dozens and dozens and dozens. But with that being said, but how they use electricity to travel in the world. And why am I talking about that today? Because I'm talking about chapter 4 here, You Are Energy. And we're talking about how you are an energetic being, and the thoughts that you have are charging your body to do different things. We'll dive into that in a second. Let me know how we doing over there. And by the way, if you've been on here and you like what you're getting, you like some of the things I talk about, you're interested in some of the things I talk about, you've read the book, you've downloaded the free ebook, an introduction to Decode Your Pain. By the way, that's at drkevintransformations.com. And you can sample the first and last chapters of the book. And the last chapter is an amazing, and I say amazing, but these insights help me have breakthroughs. And I can't claim these, though I put them in this book because it speaks so specifically to the human condition and what's going on with the subconscious mind and how our pains are literally the answers through. So I'm scrolling to the top here, and I'll show you the back. Part of the back chapter in which you're getting in the free download is this appendix where it goes through body parts, the feelings and emotions, and the possible symbolism related to each of these areas. And this has been categorized in traditional Chinese medicine. This is deeply understood in energy medicine, energy healing, if you say it that way. And I have within chiropractic, this is also known in applied kinesiology. So this, with some insights in the book and stories from patients, weave together a story so you can understand the pains that you're having, what your own body's messages are really trying to relate to you. Now that might be a foreign concept for you, a little bit different or new information, and good. That's supposed to be that way. It is that way in life. Let me check here. Yeah, we have that going. That's perfect. So let me see here. Hopefully the volume's coming through and I'm tuning in okay. So give me a thumbs up, give me a comment with that, and that way I know I'm coming through okay. Thank you very much. Now let's take a look at the article which I was just talking about. Here it is. Let's get that right in the middle. Have you ever heard such a thing, by the way? Spiders can fly hundreds of miles using electricity. So this goes on to this article, when was it written here? By the Atlantic, pretty well-known magazine. And then it talks about Darwin, but basically what's going on here is that the belief was that spiders have been found 2.5 miles up in the air and thousands of miles out to sea. Right, that's pretty remarkable. That's a small spider, right? And it's commonly believed, this is what the thought was, believed that the ballooning, meaning the spiders produced the silk that would catch on the wind, dragging the spider with it. But that doesn't make sense. Especially, and it goes into why does it make sense about the speed in which they take off and the weight of the spider versus what was going on. And so what this duo here, Erica Morley and Daniel Robert, have an explanation here, and it has to do with the energy of the atmosphere, energy found in the atmosphere. And of course Tesla talked about this, and Einstein talked about this, and all kinds of different physicists. And now quantum physicists, of course, will talk about this, and there's different, let me bring you back here for a second. There's different weather outlets, I'll say that, weather channels that I follow that talk about a new understanding of the cosmos and the weather, the cause of changes of the weather and the influence, what influences our weather. Yes, there's some basic things, of course, that you may have known, like the water temperatures and things of that nature, the jet stream. But what influences them? And the reason I'm talking about this in relationship to the human body is because we are part of this environment. You are one and the same with this environment. What changes go on in the environment, you have to adapt to. Just think about when the temperature changes, how your skin it sweats when it's too hot, and it shivers when you're too cold. And you don't have any regulation over that. It happens automatically. However, I will say there are very trained, you've seen this in the Buddhist monk the world, and people who study a lot of meditation techniques, you can begin to learn how to regulate those things. So those are deep introspective methods that take time and years and study to develop. However, the average person, in fact, even the above average person, is not anywhere near that. So that being said, your body is operating with all these automatic rules, with all these automatic responses to the environmental stimuli. Well, I got you here. I'm going to pull this up, and I'm just going to type in this term, epigenetics. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before. Epigenetics. The study of changes in organisms caused by the modification of a gene expression rather than alteration of the genetic code. This is not. This is a very horrible definition. All right, let's continue. Let's find a better definition. Let's at least try Wikipedia. Where did that come from? What's it say? Well, so that's a challenge. There's a wake-up for you right now. Getting inaccurate information off of an internet search is questionable these days. I've seen that in a couple places. All right. So now we're using big words. So essentially what we're looking at, epigenetics, is the study of the effects of the gene that occur from an environmental stimuli. Okay. Now we're talking this term here, phenotypic change, right? So if I didn't know that definition, I'd be lost right now trying to understand this word. So let's type in phenotypic. This is phenotype. That's the actual word, right? Man, it's so shady. All right, here we are. A set of observable characteristics of an individual resulting from an interaction of its genotype, which is what's inherited, okay, with the environment. How the inherent parts of you that have the instructions of what you are, how they interact with the environment. All right, so to walk the average person through. Even me, I want to make sure that I'm doing this right for you right now. All right, so now we look up the genotype. Right, so, wow. So, if someone was uninitiated, I didn't have any education in this, trying to understand what epigenetics is, and then getting to, okay, well, what's the word in the definition here? You have to realize that there's something called the genotype and the phenotype that are consisting of the genes. This is not the direction I thought we were going to be in today, but here we are. So the genotype is something that's inherent, so it's passed on, but the phenotype is the part of you that responds. It's in the gene, but it responds to the environment. I like Merriam-Webber, typically. Let's take a look in here. We're diving in together. This is live, ladies and gentlemen. That's the best way, in my opinion. So let's take a look at this together. Bring the view in here a little better. There we go. A phenotype, the observable characteristics or traits of an organism that are produced by the interaction of the genotype and the environment, the physical expression of one or more genes. So I was always taught that genotype and phenotype, part of it is that we're given, and part of it is how our body learns to adapt. I think I got that right. But nonetheless, the point being, there's like an on and off switch for every gene that you have in your body. Not all of them are active all the time. What happens is something must stimulate the part of your body that detects that there's a change in your environment. The change in your environment then triggers this response in the body. This response in the body then signals a gene. The gene then turns on or turns off in response to this signal. And in response to this signal, then the gene starts to produce something that's inside the cell. The cell starts to operate and produce something. This, whatever it's producing, is causing the ability to adapt to the environment. Wow, it's a mouthful. That being said, your genes can be turned on and turned off by what you're doing in your everyday life. Let's see here. So, how did I get talking into that? So I started talking into that because I started showing this article about spiders and the electromagnetic effect they use to travel so far. It happens to do with the voltages around. Let's see, even on sunny days when there's a cloudless sky, the air carries a voltage of around 100 volts for every meter above the ground. That's the inherent in the earth, inherent in the air. Every day, around 40,000 thunderstorms crackle around the world, collectively turning Earth's atmosphere into a giant electrical circuit. In this article, we're talking about spiders that travel really high up in the air and really far away, and they call it ballooning. They thought it was because of the silk it produced, or the web it produced that was caught by the air. And the purpose of me showing this article, they show that spiders can detect electrical fields. Here's the headline of the article so you can see it. Alright, the purpose of me showing this article is because of the chapter 4 in my book. It's titled You Are Energy. And I was on page 48. I was about to read this component about that we are energy. And here in the book, I put these images that we have: the EKG, the ECG, the cardiogram, electrocardiogram, encephalogram. We even have the MRI. We have nerve conduction tests. And these are things that we measure the electrical activity of the brain and of the body. And when we have these different thoughts, when we have a thought, whether it's something positive or negative, and whatever part of the spectrum these thoughts are on, they contain a electrical pattern, a change in the charge. There's different brain centers that have different, I don't want to use the current term chemistry, but bioelemental. So there's different hormones and something called neurotransmitters. These things are released in our brain and they flood our body, and each pattern of emotion has a different pattern of these neurochemicals, these life elements that are produced in response to an event that we are perceiving. Now, these neurotransmitters, the body is responding to them, and this tells the cells to do different things. And based on the history of the experience of that, and meaning previous times you've had those emotions, and what happened in your life in response to those emotions. Let's say fear, and you got beat up for years, and every time you got beat up, of course, you had fear and fright. So anytime you have fear and fright, it just brings up all that emotion, or brings up all that physical memory, all the physical injury. All that is triggered immediately, automatically, without your regulation. And we wonder why people have triggers, and we wonder why people are having mental breakdowns. And so what's going on is that we have a flood of memory that is going on, both in the physical memory, both in our mental memory, and our genetic memory. And so all this is happening, and this could be triggered for something within, but this can also be triggered from an external stimuli. And what is the path here? What am I trying to share with you? What am I trying to teach you? Is that you have the power to rewire your brain, to rewire your emotional response, to have new responses to challenges, to pains, to problems. And when you when you develop the tools, when you have the awareness, when you have the understanding of you're feeling this horrible emotion, you're having this horrible upset, you're not out of control. You do have control, yet you just don't know how to harness that control at this point. And if you do, congratulations, there's probably some things that can be shown to you to enhance your abilities. It's just like any skill. I've been challenged and blessed in my life with knowing this understanding about the mind and body connection and how to begin to harness your own mind for your good, how to harness your pain to help you in your breakthroughs, and that your pains and your problems, your diagnoses and illnesses and diseases aren't a death sentence. They aren't with you forever. They are a temporary state of being. That when you can learn to listen to those signals and then learn to congruently supply what's needed. When I say congruently, I want to say naturally. But that natural word has been twisted and flipped upside down, and so people have a lot of confusion around that word. So yes, naturally, yes, holistically, but what does that word mean? That's been twisted and flipped upside down. And so our belief is we need to numb it, we need to drug it, we need to cover it up. That may be true to get by in a tough time. However, that can't be repeated time and time and time again. You're destroying the structure that's giving you life. And so what do we do to rejuvenate that? What do we do to listen to that? What do we do to release the cause of that, to reverse the cause of that, so that we can rebuild and restructure and enhance your life? That's the purpose of what the content in Decode Your Pain. The content that this live Transformation Tuesdays is based on the book Decode Your Pain. And in that in that book is how do you begin to learn how to interpret that pain, and then how does one begin to understand the nature of the subconscious self, so that then when some of those things happen in one's life, then you can know what to do. You don't look at life as accidents happening to you, as problems coming to you. You look at it as purposeful. You look at it as meaningful, and you're grateful for the challenges because they bring you to your breakthroughs. Woo! Carrying on there. So, if you got some value out of what I was just saying, please give me a thumbs up. Please give a heart. That gives access to other people to connect to this message. It's algorithms. And I'm having a little comedy over here. So my daughter, she took off the ends of my earbuds, and so I got this thing jammed in both my ears. So, what's the lesson on that one? Something to do with communication, perhaps listening. Earbuds. Everything in my opinion, everything in life has meaning and purpose. That's how I can laugh about this. That's how I can have fun about this. This is how I can get serious about it. But at the end of the day, we're looking to get better. I'm looking to feel good. I want good things to happen in my life. I want good things to happen in your life. When we're all doing better, everyone's in a better mood. I mean, that's really the foundation of what anyone in healthcare is, I think, as a foundational component. You want to help people feel good. They want to feel good. They want to do a good job. I know if I'm going to my doctors, my professionals, I want to feel good at the end of it all. Why do I do it? Because I want to be able to run and jump and dance and think clear all the years of my life. I want to give and I want to provide. I want to be valuable out in the community. These are basic human needs and desires. So, is there a nuance to the game? Is there activities that are more appropriate, more congruent with the natural being that you are? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Now, I've dedicated all my professional career to that search, and I think I've done a pretty good job, and I think my patients are pretty pleased too. However, with that being said, there's of course challenges with everyone in every situation. And it's a growing process. It's an evolution process. It's a journey of your life. It's self-knowing. It's all about self-knowing, self-understanding, self-love. So that being said, I dived in deep today and gave you a nice rant, a nice from the heart moment of the nature of our thoughts, the nature of humans. We are energetic beings, and our thoughts have known effects to the energetic nature of the human body. And what is all that? Well, that's, we can talk about the nervous system, we can talk about bones, muscles, ligaments. These are all held together with different energies and forces and frequencies and different tones. Tones. What is a tone? Tone is an intensity of energy. We'll say that. Tone musically can be a different note, in fact. Even bacteria and viruses, we know that there's effects when we put different frequencies next to the body with these things. So the world of healthcare, the world of holistic healthcare is going to be energetic in the future. It is light technology in the future. It's human-to-human contact in the future, because we emit this energy. And when people who know how to align themselves to be in that position of the facilitator, of the guide, of the mentor, of the healer, they're facilitating you. You have the power within. It's true. You have the power within, and we can nurture and support that, or we can break that down and block that. And that's the choices and actions of what you do on a day-by-day basis, and a week-by-week, and a month-by-month basis. The healthcare practices that you choose, the daily activities that you choose, the kind of things you put in your body, and we all have them. And that's the nature of getting yourself well. That's the nature of learning to learn to love yourself, learn to nourish yourself. And so with that being said, I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about self-love, self-nurturing. And I'm going to type into the chat because I don't have it. It's a Facebook group. It's called 4 Foundations. In fact, right there. I'll type that in there. In fact, while you're here, let's see if I can find it with you on at the same time. And I know I can. Let's type that in like that. I'm not gonna try to log in from my own place. Let's see if I can find it. Full Foundations, Daily Accountability. If not, I'll have to go. I think that's the name in Dallas. It's a little harder to find than I thought I wanted to be. They don't want to give it to me. So I'm going to have to pull up a different website. Hold on, a different way to go about it. So bear with me while I pull it up. And so how you doing today? It's a beautiful weather. Where I'm at, it's a little windy where I'm at. All right, here we go. I still want to log in on personal stuff to show you. Maybe some people give me smiles. All right, so 4 Foundations. And this is where each and every day, in little powerful ways, I share the strategies of self-nurturing mind, body, spirit, and soul. And I go live every day, and I drop some details. In fact, I'm live right now showing this stream right now. Hopefully it's going well. Yeah, there it is. It's going. All right, there's some lives right there. And there's actually an expansion of the program coming. I've been talking about it in the group a little bit. And it's a social learning site component within Facebook. So you go over here to the unit section, and it's free to get in at this current point. And as I continue to drop more value, more coaching program components in there, there's a brief explanation right now of what it is and the intention of it behind it. And I've categorized it. I got the first 30 episodes right here, and then have some resources, materials for the different mind and body components. And there's going to be a whole series of education about it. There's 10 videos I have planned for it, and I just got done the logo and everything recently, and I got an intro video coming right now. Oh, look at that, 4 people want to join. Look at that right there. So I'll click on that when we're done with the live, and we'll get them going. And that's 4 Foundations. How do you nurture mind, body, spirit, and soul in simple power-filled ways each and every day. That's the nature of Four Foundations. Essentially it's the next piece of, let's bring you back over here. It's the next piece of how I am supporting people in this time right now, is doing what I've been instructed. I have mentorship and I have professional coaches on my team that I've hired, that I connect to, and this is how I can grow my business and grow my own personal life and maintain stability while all this is going on, is because I have a firm foundation. That's why I call it Four Foundations. And I've developed ways in which I nourish my body, my mind, my spirit, my soul each and every day. Little simple ways, little power-filled ways, so they can again go out, so to speak, and do the good work. Take care of the things they need to take care of, support the things they need to support, build the things they need to build, and still have a personal life. It's beautiful, and it's built upon momentum. And one of the reasons I wanted to do that group is so I could continue my accountability. But now I got a lot of people that want to join in, and now I'm accountable to them as well. And I enjoy that. That's a very motivating thing for me to accomplish. And so, let's see right here. I wanted to, what else did I want to show you? Oh, yep, I wanted to make sure you got this, right? So this is the last piece. You type in right there, right? Dr. Kevin Transformations. This is how you can get access to the free ebook. You get to see a little bit of my story. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit so it's a little easier to see. You get to see a little bit of my story about where I was when I was 27, and you can see a little bit of where I was when I was 27, and you put your name, email, and phone number in there, and you'll get the free first chapter, and you get that manual in the back. And then I add, over the next like 15 days, you get a series of emails that gives you a little more depth and detail about the book itself. And the book is less than $10. It's an amazing little thing. It's a powerful thing. I'm so pleased with the feedback I'm getting from other doctor friends of mine that have purchased it, people that have dived into the groups, the transformation program. Synergy Solutions, which is a remote quantum healing. I go live tomorrow at noon live, and I'm putting it out to all the channels for free as we're still in this scenario of lockdown. So join in or see the same channel that this is streaming that you're right now. You went back a week or two, you'd see 1 or 2 episodes. Regardless of the time and space, connect to it at 12 noon and you'll get the positive effect. And if you're wanting to dive into the deeper benefits of the program, go to synergysolutions.com, and that's, I'm going to show you that too. I was going to show you the whole thing. We've got synergysolutions.com. Take that out there. And this is how, if you're getting value about what I'm giving you, this is how, synergysolutions.com. This is how you can get benefit. This is how you can help heal your life. You can help align your life. There's a lot more coming that I have that's not even announced yet. I'm in editing phases with. Mindset Matters program. Super excited about. That's been in my in the planning stage for 10 years. I finally took action on it. But this is Synergy Solutions. Put your email in there. Put your name and email in there, and you get 3 free sessions downloaded, and you get to do the work in that. And then you get an offer to join in the private members area and get some additional benefits. And we'll be coaching and teach people how to do these techniques. That's coming. So you go there, you check out the whole story of Synergy. You check out the Belgian draft horse story, and here's some of the doctors that join us every week. And we go live and we do this remote quantum healing. It's a beautiful thing, and it's changing people's lives. I'm so blessed to be a part of it, and I'm so blessed that I'm so thankful for the inspiration. I know that's part of what I'm here to deliver. So thank you for joining in today. It's been a fun one for me, and it got into some seriousness, it got into some lightheartedness. We got to share some programs that I'm doing. I want to encourage you that when you become aware of the signs and symptoms within, and can learn how to detect and interpret what they are, and learn the skills so you can overcome the challenges and figure out the new ways of how to build your perceptions and your vision by all means, you can take control of your life in every possible direction and grow it in positive ways that one, you want. Number two, it's part of who you are, your authentic self. And number three, it helps everyone in your life because you're in a better place. You help everybody else because now you have a position of power and you've reclaimed your life and you have returned to your greatest version of yourself. I'm Dr. Kevin. Reach out to me, send me an email, contact at drkeving.com. Go to the website, drkeving.com. Check out all the programs that are accessible through that and get yourself in a better position. Take advantage of the power of group healing. Take advantage of all the email programs, the live accountability program with 4 foundations. There's so much going on because I know that you have the power within you. And the more that I can facilitate you in your power of growth, that you can reclaim your life, the better this whole world will be. And that's called the Rising Tide Principle. Blessings, best regards. It's been Dr. Kevin. Thank you for joining in for another Transformation Tuesday. I will see you next week, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, live. Blessings and best regards. Little bonus.